going into my 14th year as president of Richard Bland. Bland College is really at a high mark. Our goal is to higher education is changing rapidly. This is a revolutionary time in higher education.
Welcome to On Air RBC. Today we welcome back a very special guest, Dr. Debbie L. Seido, president of Richard Bland College. President Seido, thanks for joining us. Let's get right into it. How would you describe the current state of Richard Bland College, both the challenges and the opportunities?
Richard Bland College is really at a high mark in its evolution. From a physical plant point of view, the college is absolutely thriving with a new building opening last fall that really achieves our dream of having a one-stop center for students so that they can take care of all of their needs. Dining facilities, our learner mentors, getting support with tutoring, on and on, the library, everything under one roof. That has been a tremendous expansion and a way to address student needs. So in addition to the physical plant, obviously you need to look at finances. Any institution lives or dies by its finances. Richard Bland is doing very well, has continued to keep costs low, to keep tuition and fees low for our students. But at the same time, we're providing them more and more services that are focused on helping them to be successful, whatever their goals might be. And finally, the third resource that is critically important for every college is its people. Richard Bland has a tremendously caring faculty, most of whom are full-time and have terminal degrees. We're very proud of that fact because increasingly, colleges and universities are using adjunct faculty to teach, especially first and second year courses. For Richard Bland College, our university parallel years 1 and 2 are taught primarily by faculty members who are full-time and have terminal degrees. That's a real differentiator. So financially, in terms of physical plant, and certainly in terms of our people, Richard Bland is thriving. I would say we face the same challenges that other colleges and universities face relative to increasing costs. That's affecting not only higher education, but every industry. We face a changing demographic. There is what has been called an enrollment cliff that begins this year, 2025. The issue is we will have fewer high school graduates, and therefore more colleges and universities will be trying to recruit a shrinking body of student prospects. So those are built-in challenges that exist for the entire industry, but we do believe we have a competitive advantage because of our unique value proposition. We are a small college, we embrace that, and students who want that very small college environment where they are known, where they have opportunities to explore their interests, where they have opportunities to engage directly with faculty and staff, to be engaged in hands-on research and other internships, other activities. This is a really great place to be for those students, and increasingly we see students voting with their feet. Our enrollment continues to buck the trend. Our enrollment is on the rise, and that is the number one indicator of success.
And what are some of the other accomplishments or milestones that you're most proud of being president of RBC?
I'm really excited about the Business Innovation Park. So Richard Bland took the bold move to carve out about 80 acres of land, and we are working with local economic developers, regional economic developers, to identify ways that we can bring businesses to campus so that students will be able to do their internships right here. They don't have to drive to a company in order to have an internship experience. Also, they'll have multiple options, not just one company, but many, that they can move through if they choose to explore different internships or potentially have a paid internship only with one company over the course of their time at Richard Bland. This is, again, unheard of really in higher education, so it's a unique resource that we're providing for our students. I'm really proud of our learner mentor setup. What that means is every student has a person dedicated to their success, helping them coordinate services. It can be really confusing as a first-generation college student. If you do not have family members who attended college, it's a structure and a culture that can really cause people to lose confidence and sometimes too often drop out. So the learner mentor is really tracking progress, making sure that students are going to class, that they are not falling behind on assignments, and they are taking intervention strategies forward to help that student get back on track and graduate. That's a real differentiator for the college. I'm proud of athletics. We've grown from no intercollegiate athletics a decade ago to now 2 national championship teams in men's basketball and women's volleyball, and the number of regional championships in soccer and across various sports. It's just phenomenal. And of course, we added esports, which has taken off in grand fashion, as that continues to be a popular sport, and one of our players actually won a championship in Fortnite. So again, lots of bragging rights relative to sports, but also athletics is a portal for so many students to enter college. That becomes the thing that gets them excited and energizes them, being able to continue to play their sport and to compete at the collegiate level. So in any case, there are so many other accomplishments that I'm very proud of, ways that this institution stands out, but those are the highlights.
What about a couple students that have really progressed? We're looking at Michael Mason, Anna Connor. Those types of students are prime examples of how successful it can be for a student to enter RBC.
Richard Bland values its partnerships, and I'm really proud of the fact that we have entered one partnership that's called Transfer Scholars Network. This network allows our students to have a direct pipeline to many Ivy League institutions and other highly selective institutions throughout the country. One of those, you mentioned Michael Mason, is now studying at Amherst. His first scholarship in his first year was $150,000. So he will have an Amherst baccalaureate degree, essentially without any debt coming out of that. And that partnership, that program has been so successful. This year, Anna Connors had acceptances to Princeton, to Yale. The list goes on and on. She is one of our standout students, but here's the thing, there are so many standout students at Richard Bland. So many students have gone on to William & Mary, to other prestigious institutions, and have had illustrious careers coming out of this institution, and we're proud of that. Again, when you think about value proposition, it's the students. This is our product. This is what Richard Bland does well. We prepare students for pathways that can lead them, frankly, anywhere to any career and to any level of success, and we've proven that over and over again.
And part of that happens through University College?
It does. University College is a new program. Again, partnerships, that's going to be my theme. We have developed agreements with Virginia State University and Virginia Wesleyan University out at the beach area, so that students can continue to live at Richard Bland and complete baccalaureate degrees in a number of fields without any debt. So those two universities have agreed in years 3 and 4 to charge Richard Bland tuition. That is a huge savings for those students, and the scholarships that they're receiving, again, allow them to graduate debt-free. That's virtually unheard of today. as many students struggle with student loans and student debt after they graduate. So these opportunities, again, make Richard Bland's value proposition very, very important.
Then there's the foundation in regards to scholarships.
Yes, our foundation, led by a board that includes many Richard Bland alumni, the awards are roughly $300,000 a year, and that means that for many students, most students, they are attending Richard Bland without paying tuition because of other grants they get, so the foundation, but also Pell funds, state scholarships, private scholarships, and this makes all the difference, especially for students, again, who are first generation or who do not have the financial ability to pay cash for college and who don't want to go in debt, which is more and more students.
And how is RBC navigating the broader changes in higher education, particularly in terms of funding, workforce alignment, and even student expectations?
I am really proud of the fact that we work hard to mitigate cost, and that is important at a time when costs are really surging. How do we do that? We are always exploring ways to think about back office functions in particular. Do we outsource that? Are we going to get a better result if we outsource? Are we going to find ways to partner in order to mitigate costs so that we're not duplicating effort? So this is kind of a built-in discipline that we've developed in managing this institution to always be looking for those opportunities to mitigate cost. But on the flip side, we have continued to build auxiliary revenue. So what is auxiliary revenue? That is everything that comes in aside from state funding, which is about 50%, and tuition and fee revenue directly coming from students. We continue to bolster that third piece of the revenue pie through our own internal operations, that is food service, housing, vending. But 3 years ago, we established the Office of Research and Innovation. A dynamic leader has just, in extraordinary fashion, been able to bring millions of dollars, $10 million and more to the college, directly applying it to the core mission, giving students more opportunities for internships, for hands-on experience, for travel. And that has been such a game changer, engaging faculty in doing more with students because now there's funding to allow them to take students to Madagascar, to take students to New York, to look at institutions like Johns Hopkins, to have experiences that they just could not have had prior to bringing in that grant revenue that has just, again, been a game changer for students and for faculty.
And finally, what role does Richard Bland College play in the Commonwealth's education's ecosystem, especially as a transfer institution?
Again, I'm going to speak to Richard Bland's unicorn status in the Virginia system of higher education. I say unicorn because there is no other college like Richard Bland. We are the only two-year college that has residence halls. We have selective admissions. We have intercollegiate sports that is at a level that other institutions just have not gotten to. We are dedicated to university parallel, years 1 and 2, for students planning to transfer. And again, most community colleges are focused on applied degrees as a primary focus, meaning these are programs that are welding or building trades. These are great programs, but that's not where Richard Bland has primarily been in terms of our core mission. It is providing students, again, that top-level experience with primarily full-time faculty with terminal degrees, teaching English and history and those general education courses, and engaging with students in travel and research and other ways, internships. So students get the very best education in the classroom and supplemental education outside the classroom, bolstered by a learner mentor who is completely dedicated to making sure they stay on track. That is just a really unique value that we add in the ecosystem of Virginia higher education.
I'm going into my 14th year as president of Richard Bland College is really at a high mark. Our goal is to recruit. Higher education is changing rapidly. This is a revolutionary time in higher education. Many from the region, a 50-mile radius, we could not be more different